Now I'm going back to back, and I'm not, because right now I just hit play again. So this is part two of, I even forgot the title, but I want to finish some parts here because there's, and I just realized I don't have much space left on this storage, but this is psychoanalysis of the world's friendliest person, and it got lengthy, the first part, and I'd missed so many points, and now I've came up with new sub-support points, and it's hard not to use politics to the political scope because people are familiar with it, right? To explain some things psychologically. But that's the thing. There's things about me psychologically. I have been a friendly person. We'll just say that. I can guarantee you I've been a friendly person. There's some people who won't talk about diet. They won't talk about quitting smoking cigarettes. They'll be like, get away from me. I don't want to hear that. And it's not what I'm saying to quit. But they won't even, the people I've been around who smoke cigarettes regularly, and I'll get into the subject of diet, nutrition at some point because I had to stop doing stuff. And and they don't want to hear it. So do they even believe in God? Hope. If you don't have any hope, do you have any real happiness? So I'm going to say I've been in situations where it's hard to be happy. It's hard to change this just a little bit. It's hard to be happy. Not happy. So there's still an underlying happiness through hope and stuff. But there's situations where I've been so stranded and so at a loss of resources. And the hardest part for me is that I knew I had plans to relay messages such as this, and right now I can't remember every message I want to relay. Right, I have a list of messages I want to relay to people. I have some written down, a long list that I've written down, and it's there. But when I think it's good to explain. I'm human. Church will teach us we have to be perfect. A lot of people talk about drugs. They quit drug, got saved, and they never did drugs again. That may be the case for some people, but that's not a requirement for salvation. Salvation doesn't necessarily do that to people. That sometimes people who grew up around that, so I come from a different perspective than a lot of people. I was introduced to drugs through somebody lying to me and saying it was an over-the-counter thing to stay awake. And they wanted me to stay awake and hang out all night somewhere where I promised I would, but I was too tired. So that's how I was introduced to drugs. And once that happened, I'm like, well, I can't say I've never done it before. And I sampled some other stuff. So, but, and also, I'm a guy who saved my first kiss for marriage till 19, and that was stolen from me. Not that, but I was sexually assaulted at that point. And so in relation to that, I've had some both issues, I guess. It was stealing my resume is what it bothered. Not reputation, but my resume. Anyway, I don't want to get into that because I'm looking at the time. This is going to cut off on me. But I went through illogical depression from that and some logical depression, I guess. I can't remember how I want to explain that right now. So I did do the caffeine, and I can tell it is affecting my memory today. I'm sorry for that. And it does it in a certain way. And only a little, though. But, so it did help my headache. Something helped my headache, either eating or doing the caffeine yesterday. And I cut back on the sugar, did a little spaghetti with garlic and onions, and I did real garlic and onions, not just the powder. Did a little honey and peanut butter, natural peanut butter. And what else? Did some and my smoothies. So that had made me generally feel better, but I mixed a little coffee in my other drink mix, which I made it light, very light on everything. But didn't do stevia extract. I did honey. So I'm quitting the stevia extract, probably. Not all the way. See, I can't say 100% I'm quitting. First of all, I don't know if it's bad for sure, but too much of it apparently is. So, and I know I can get addicted to it, so I'm going to try to stay away from it. I don't even want to buy maple syrup. Why do I say this stuff? It's not on the subject, right? I could think about it and tell you how that ties in. Because I'm trying to be personable and be real and show you real life. Those are things you should care about. Anybody should care about. And I know people who don't. I know people in Christian churches who support gluttony because it's a better sin than that sin, than smoking. It's a better sin than smoking. It's a better sin than being around whores or whatever. They could say that. I've seen people like with that attitude, and they're wrong about that. That's gluttony is not a better sin, and you're not. And if you've been a glutton and you think you go to church and you think you're a Christian, you may not be a Christian, because I'm not going to say that you can gain control of your appetite all the time, and it's always going to be a battle. It can always be a battle, and I mean, some people can get a hold of that better than others. But to have the philosophy that it's okay just to hurt my body, and to just always live for that, and even tempt other people to do it, especially if they're on a diet, and talk bad about somebody. Why do you want a diet? You don't look like you need a diet, and do all that kind of stuff. That's a gluttony philosophy, and so people do that in church and stuff. A lot of churches, not a lot of different people in churches do that. So, are they really Christian? They might not be. They might not, but they might. Depends on their spiritual attitude towards it. So that's hard to tell because it's not an obvious sin, right? Because we all have to eat. But so that's a point to bring up. That's outside the box, right? Kind of outside the box, but it's a Bible. It's a verse in the Bible. Okay, it's in probably Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians. Might even be in 1 Corinthians. I don't know. Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. May talk about gluttony. Some of those may touch on it on each one. I think it might talk on it in Proverbs too. I think Jesus may touch on it. I don't recall it directly. But I'm going to run out of time. And I was trying to say about why do I think I'm the friendliest person in the world? I mean, I just know, I know me, and it doesn't matter. I know, no matter how friendly I am, I think my philosophy is friendly. And I think that I know I'm the most non-racist person in the world. And my philosophy has been for the longest time. But people will think I am because I dare to call a black person a sinner, just like I'm a sinner. and then to call out the fact that cultures has influenced in America. It's been pointed at. I mean, whether I can blame black cultures for it, from Africa, that are Islamic, that have come here to make slaves out of black people and pretend that white people are the ones that did it. The white people who freed them, they're pretending the white people who freed them from that did it. So the people from Africa who were in slave trade, they're here. They're here. It's clear. I mean, they're in the Democrat Party, and they protect people being in the drug cartel. They protect thieves in black neighborhoods. They hate the police to protect keeping thieves in black neighborhoods, so they can keep making slaves out of black people through the system. So it's anyway. But I've been friendly to all those kind of people. Now they'll want to kill me, fight me, or this or that, and I can't. It's hard to dodge that, really, on these subjects. They won't let any truth be said because they hate white people so much. I'm not allowed to talk about it. But that is popular in black cultures, though, and it needs to be addressed because they're not addressing it. They've blocked it by faking racism, but they are the racists, the ones that are protecting that. And so they're not. It's not always about racism; it's about money. But they're lying about racism, and I'm having to defend about racism. And so there will be videos where I want to supersede that and just ignore it and say we're all one human race. Jesus died for all. He created us all. We're all from Adam and Eve. And I have 20 seconds before this shuts off. So I just want to supersede it, and not because talking about it in defense makes it sound like I can't stay off that subject. Well, I can't because I'm having to defend you on that subject all the time and all the lies you've told about me, and you're telling about me now and for bringing it up. So, but if you listen long enough, you'll find out I'm telling the truth. And I'm also, I do subjects where it supersedes and it doesn't have to talk about black or white. It just talks about us all being the same. But we are black and white. They say don't say black because they don't want me to say that a black man's racist. But I got to go.